I remember that morning like it was painted in sunlight. Emily was in the kitchen, humming softly, flipping pancakes like nothing could ever touch her. "Morning," I said, leaning against the doorway. "Morning," she replied, smiling without looking up. "Coffee?" "Please, black." I walked over, inhaling the warmth of the room, the smell of breakfast, her presence. I loved this, simple, ordinary moments where everything felt perfect. Jake's text buzzed on my phone. "Game tonight?" "Don't bail," I typed back. "Of course not. I'll be there." Jake and I had been inseparable since high school. He knew me better than anyone. Emily slid the plate toward me. "You've got plans tonight?" "Yeah, just hanging out with Jake. You?" "Maybe some work. I've got that report due." Her eyes flickered to the window like something was on her mind. I didn't notice it then. I thought she was just busy, focused. I never suspected. "Hey, remember our trip to the lake?" I asked, trying to lighten the air. "We promised we'd go before winter." Emily smiled faintly. "Yeah, I remember. Don't you want to go? I've been planning it for weeks." "I know," she said softly. "We'll see." Something in her tone made me pause. I brushed it off. I always brushed things off. Jake arrived that evening, tossing his bag on the couch. "Dude, you ready?" "For what?" I laughed. "Game night." "You promised." Emily peeked around the doorway. "Have fun, you two." Her smile seemed forced, like a mask hiding something. I waved. "See you later." As we left, I couldn't shake the feeling that something had shifted, even if I didn't know what. I trusted Emily, I trusted Jake, I thought everything was fine. On the drive, Jake elbowed me. "She's acting weird." "You notice that?" "Maybe just stressed," I said. "Don't read too much into it." Jake shrugged but didn't argue. He knew me too well. I hated overthinking. Back home that night, I fell asleep thinking about the future. College, jobs, trips, weekends with Emily, nights with Jake. Life felt stable, predictable, controllable. I didn't know it then, but stability was a lie. Something was coming, something I would never see in time. And yet, even in my ignorance, I felt excited. Excited for the plans we'd make, the adventures ahead. Excited for a life I thought I could manage. Everything was perfect. Too perfect, maybe. The day Emily left started like any other, except it ended with my world in pieces. "Can we talk?" she said softly, avoiding my eyes. "Of course." "What's wrong?" I tried to keep my voice calm, but something in her tone made my stomach tighten. I don't feel the same anymore," she said. "What do you mean?" My heart thumped. "Emily, we've been planning our future. Everything was fine." "I know, but things have changed. I can't pretend anymore." Her hands trembled slightly. "I think it's better if we end things." "End things? Just like that? Is this really you talking?" I gritted my teeth. Who else is there?" She hesitated. "It's complicated. I'm sorry. Complicated?" I whispered, feeling my chest tighten. "Emily, look at me. Just tell me the truth. I've been seeing someone else." I blinked, words failing me. "Who?" "Jake," she admitted. Her voice was quiet, almost ashamed. "Jake?" I laughed nervously, then it cracked. "My best friend? He's been behind my back this whole time?" "I didn't plan it this way," she whispered. "I didn't mean to hurt you." I slammed my hands on the table. "Didn't mean to hurt me?" "You destroyed my life!" Later, I confronted Jake. "Is this true? You stole her from me?" "I didn't steal anything," he said defensively. "She made her choice." "I didn't ask her to leave you. You knew," I shouted. "You knew and you did nothing." "I didn't know how to tell you," he muttered. "It just happened." "I didn't mean, you didn't mean?" I laughed bitterly. "Do you have any idea how that feels? To be betrayed by the two people you trusted most?" "You'll get through this," he said quietly, but I didn't hear comfort in his voice. Only excuses. Later that day, I ran into Maya at the cafe. She looked at me with concern. "Hey, you look shattered." "I am shattered," I said, my hands trembling. "She left me for Jake, my best friend." Everything I thought I had, gone. Maya took a deep breath. "Listen, I know it hurts. I know it feels like the end, but don't do anything rash. Think, breathe. You're not powerless, even if it feels that way." "I feel powerless," I admitted. "They destroyed me, Maya. I don't know how to move on. Or fight back." "You have choices," she said softly. "Revenge isn't the only answer." But don't let your anger blind you. Plan carefully if you do anything. Make it count. I don't even know what I want, I muttered, shaking my head. I feel like my whole life betrayed me in one day. You'll survive this, she said. You're stronger than you think. But first you need to figure out if you want to rise or fall with this. I walked away from her. Heart pounding, mind spinning, rage, sadness, betrayal. I wanted to scream, hit something, or throw myself into oblivion. But somewhere deep inside, a tiny spark lit, an idea that maybe this wasn't the end. Maybe it was the beginning of something else. Something I couldn't yet name. I didn't trust myself yet, but I knew one thing. I couldn't let them break me. Not entirely. I couldn't escape them. Every street, every cafe, every song on the radio, it felt like Emily and Jake were everywhere. "Hey man, you okay?" Mark asked at work, leaning against my desk. I forced a smile. "Yeah, just tired, I guess. You've been off for days. You barely touch your coffee and your reports are late." "I know," I muttered, staring at my screen. Numbers blurred. "I just can't focus." "Talk to someone," he suggested. "Don't shut yourself in." "I'm fine," I snapped, immediately regretting it. I hated feeling weak, but inside I was a storm, rage, hurt, confusion. Later, David stopped by. "You look like hell, but I won't sugarcoat it. People notice." "Thanks, I guess," I said bitterly. "I can't. I don't even know what to do anymore." "You're not hopeless," he said calmly. "But you have to decide. Sit here feeling sorry for yourself, or start taking tiny steps back." "I don't know where to even start," I muttered. "Everywhere I look, I see her. Her laugh, her smile. Jake, everywhere." David leaned on my desk. "Then start small. One step at a time. Reclaim what you can, your focus, your confidence. Don't let them own your mind." "I feel like I've lost everything," I said, voice cracking. "Friends, love. My own life feels borrowed." "You haven't lost everything. You've just lost control for now," he said. "Regain it slowly. Start with work. Build momentum. Then the rest will follow." "I don't know if I can," I admitted. "Everything reminds me of them. Even walking home tonight, I kept seeing her reflection in windows, laughing with him." "Good. Use that," David said. "Channel it. Not hatred. Not revenge yet. Just focus. Let it fuel your comeback." I wanted to punch a wall, scream at the sky, but I stayed silent. I listened to his calm voice. Maybe there was a path forward. Later that day, Maya called. "You've been MIA. I'm worried. I'm surviving," I said. "Barely." "You need to stop drowning in the past," she said softly. "You can't undo what they did, but you can decide what comes next." "I keep imagining fighting back," I muttered, "showing them I'm not weak. But part of me just wants to fade away, disappear." "You won't disappear," she said. "You're stronger than you know. Just pick one path, stand up or sink. Don't waste time stuck in between." I hung up, staring at the ceiling. "Stand up or sink," the words echoed. I felt a flicker of something, maybe hope, maybe anger, but enough to push me forward. That night, I walked past their apartment. I saw them through the window. She laughed. He grinned. And for the first time, I didn't feel powerless. Not entirely. "I'm not done," I whispered to myself. "Not yet." I couldn't keep hiding in shadows, not anymore. The pain was still raw, but I realized something. Anger could be a tool if I let it. "David, I need a plan," I said the next morning at the office. "A plan for what?" he asked, raising an eyebrow. "To take back control. My life, my mind, everything they stole." "You're talking about Emily and Jake," he said, calm as ever. "This isn't just about them. It's about you." "Yes," I admitted. "Exactly that. I can't undo the past, but I can change the future." He leaned back. "Then start small. Career, finances, influence. Grow in places they won't expect. Don't just react. Act strategically." I nodded, already thinking. First, rebuild respect. Then, presence. Then, watch karma do its work. Sophie texted later that day. "Lunch? I've got some ideas for that project you were struggling with." I agreed. Sitting across from her, I noticed her calm confidence. "Thanks for helping," I said. You'd help me if roles were reversed, she replied. But you've been distant, you okay? Not really, I admitted. I'm working on moving past some betrayal. It's complicated. Betrayal? She asked softly. My ex, and my best friend, I muttered. It's a mess. Sophie smiled faintly. Then let's focus on what you can control. Work, presence, strategy. You're smarter than they think. I nodded, feeling a spark I hadn't felt in weeks. Maybe I could reclaim something. Maybe I could reclaim me. Later that week, I attended a networking event. Emily and Jake were there, hand in hand, laughing at something private. My stomach twisted, but I reminded myself, patience, observation, control. A friend waved me over. You look different, more confident. Thanks, I said, letting my smile be subtle yet noticeable. It's a work in progress. Emily caught my eye across the room. She frowned, whispered something to Jake, and their laughter faltered. My pulse quickened, not from desire, but from recognition. She noticed me. She always noticed me. I moved through the crowd, shaking hands, exchanging polite conversation. Every word, every smile, every subtle assertion was deliberate. A chess game, each move calculated. Sophie joined me. They're watching, she whispered. I know, I said quietly, and I'm letting them. They need to see that losing me wasn't the victory they imagined. We laughed softly, a small shared rebellion. She didn't know the full story, and I didn't tell her. Some things were mine alone. As the night ended, I walked out into the cool air, replaying every glance, every whisper. I realized my revenge didn't need to be loud. It could be quiet, controlled, perfect. You're thinking too much, Sophie said from behind. Maybe, I admitted, but this is the first time in weeks I feel like I'm moving forward instead of just surviving. You're stronger than you think, she said. I smiled faintly. Not yet strong enough to forgive, but strong enough to make them realize they lost something priceless. Her eyes met mine. Then don't waste the chance. Make it count. I nodded, feeling a cold, determined clarity. This was no longer about pain. It was about power, about rising above. And I would do it quietly, strategically, and without mercy. As I walked away, I glanced back once. Emily and Jake were still laughing, oblivious. I let them be, for now. But the spark had been lit. And when it burned fully, nothing would stop me. Damn, you really changed, Mark said, sliding into the chair across from me. Changed how? I asked, raising an eyebrow. You're confident now. Focused. People notice. I guess I am, I said, smirking. Feels good to actually be present for once. Good for you, he said, grinning. Even Emily noticed. I laughed lightly, letting the comment roll off me. I don't care if she notices. I care that I'm finally moving forward. Sophie joined us, coffee in hand. Mark's right. You're different. And it suits you. Thanks, I said. I've been working on myself. Not for her, not for Jake, but for me. Good, she said, smiling. Confidence looks good on you. I felt a small swell of pride. Months ago, I couldn't have imagined feeling this way. The betrayal had nearly broken me, but I'd rebuilt piece by piece. Later that week, I ran into Emily at a work event. Her eyes widened when she saw me. Wow. You look great, she said, forcing a smile. Thanks, I said casually. It's been a busy few months. Busy. Yeah, she said, glancing at Jake. We've been busy too, I nodded, maintaining composure. I'm glad for you both. Really. Her eyes flicked to Sophie, who stood nearby chatting with colleagues. Subtle jealousy flashed across Emily's face, though she masked it quickly. Jake approached later, awkwardly shifting his weight. So, you're doing well? I am, I said, smiling faintly. Thanks for asking. He hesitated, unsure what to say. It struck me how fragile he seemed, something Emily had ignored in favor of charm and surface confidence. Sophie whispered later, They're noticing, aren't they? They are, I said, quietly amused. And I'm enjoying the quiet. I spent the rest of the evening networking, shaking hands, and making subtle impressions. Every word, every gesture reinforced the person I was becoming. Stronger, sharper, untouchable by past pain. "You've changed," Sophie said as we left. "And not just how you look. You walk differently, speak differently. You're rising. I feel it," I admitted. "It's like I finally reclaimed myself. Every insult, every betrayal, it fuels me. I'm not bitter anymore. I'm careful, calculated." "Good," she said. "That control is important. Don't let them see weakness." "I won't," I said. "They already burned me once. I won't let it happen again." That night, walking home, I thought of Emily laughing with Jake. The image didn't sting like it used to. Now I noticed cracks in their composure. He stumbled over words she didn't notice, and she frowned at minor mistakes he made. They're not perfect, I realized. They were just lucky, blind to reality. That luck will fade. I smiled quietly to myself. I wasn't waiting for revenge yet. I was building, growing, rising from the ashes of betrayal, and when the time came, I would be ready. The envelope sat on my desk like a trap disguised as civility. I tore it open and my eyes skimmed the words. "You're invited to our wedding." "Emily and Jake, what the hell?" I muttered, voice low. David, standing nearby, raised an eyebrow. "They're getting married?" "Apparently," I said, shaking my head. "And they want me there." "Can you believe it?" "You going?" he asked cautiously. I paused, thinking. Yes, not to beg or protest. Not out of weakness. I want to see it. To witness everything they've built, and everything I've rebuilt for myself. "You're calm about this?" he asked, incredulous. "Calm isn't the word," I admitted. "Calculated? Prepared. I'll be ready." Sophie called later that afternoon. I heard about the invitation. You're going?" "I am," I said, smiling faintly. "It's important to see the final act. And to know I survived, I grew, I'm better." "You've changed," she said softly. "Not just outside. You carry yourself differently." "They'll notice." "I want them to notice," I said, quiet but firm. "I'm not there to react, I'm there to observe." The night before, I stood in front of the mirror. "Look at yourself," I said aloud. "This is not the broken guy they abandoned. This is the man who refused to stay down. You're ready. Mentally, physically, everything." The wedding day arrived, bright and formal. I entered the venue and immediately felt the energy. Laughter, music, Emily radiant in her gown, Jake smug by her side. "Wow," Sophie whispered beside me. "She looks happy." "Of course she does," I said calmly. "But let's see how long that lasts." Friends and family approached, greeting me with warmth and surprise. "You look incredible," my cousin said. "You've really turned things around." "Thanks," I said, smiling. "It took time, but I'm finally myself again." Emily caught my gaze, and for the first time in months, her confident mask faltered. You look different," she said, forcing a smile. "I've grown," I said simply. "It's been a journey." Jake stepped forward, trying to mask discomfort with a grin. "Looking sharp," he said. "Clearly life agrees with you." "Life does," I replied evenly. "And I've learned not everything is as perfect as it seems." As the ceremony began, I noticed whispers, glances. Their smugness was fading under the quiet assertion of my presence. I didn't need to speak louder than I already had. My transformation was visible in every gesture, every smile, every controlled step I took. Sophie leaned close. "You're doing perfectly. They can feel it. They can't hide it." "I know," I whispered, letting satisfaction mix with calm. They believed winning meant defeating me. But I'm here to show them, winning isn't always what it seems. The music swelled, Emily's laughter echoing in the hall. I stood tall, composed, and detached. This wasn't revenge yet. This was control, observation, power contained, measured, undeniable. And when the time came, I would decide how the story ended. I stepped into the grand hall, letting my eyes scan the room without haste. Laughter, chatter, the clinking of glasses, it all felt muted, like I was observing from a distance. Sophie leaned close. "You look untouchable tonight." "I've spent months rebuilding," I said quietly. "This isn't about them. It's about me. But watching their reactions, that's just a bonus." Emily caught my gaze from across the room. Her smile faltered for a fraction of a second. and I allowed myself a quiet satisfaction. She noticed. She always notices. Michael, her new husband, approached. I extended my hand smoothly. "Michael, congratulations. Pleasure to finally meet you." Thanks," he stammered, eyes flicking nervously to Emily. "I've heard a lot about you." "Really?" I asked lightly. "I hope all good things," he chuckled awkwardly. "Mostly, well, from work stories and friends." I smiled faintly, letting my calm dominate. "I see. I'll take that as encouragement." Sophie nudged me. "You're too composed." "It's unnerving. I've learned," I whispered. "Composure is power." Emily walked over, feigning cheer. "I'm so glad you came," she said, voice tight. "I wouldn't miss it," I said evenly. "It's enlightening to witness new beginnings." "Oh, well." "Thank you," she said, struggling to maintain control. "You look amazing, different, strong." "Different, yes," I said, "and strong enough to enjoy my evening without distraction." Her eyes darted nervously to Michael, then back to me. I could see the tension building, subtle jealousy wrapped in social etiquette. A guest joined our table. "I didn't know you knew Emily from before," they said. "I heard stories." "Yes," I said coolly. "We shared a long history. Plenty of memories." Michael cleared his throat. "History can be complicated," he said, attempting to assert himself. "True," I said, smiling faintly. "But some of us learn faster than others," Sophie whispered across the table. "Ouch, that's cold." "I'm not here to be cold," I said quietly. "I'm here to be undeniable." Emily shifted uncomfortably, fumbling her wine glass. I didn't think you'd handle yourself like this." "I handle myself like this every day," I said. "It just happens to be visible tonight." A laugh echoed from a nearby table. "Wow, he looks untouchable." "I am," I murmured to Sophie. "And Emily knows it." "That recognition, it's delicious." Michael leaned forward, voice low. "I didn't realize—" "You're impressive." "Thanks," I said smoothly. "But impressiveness isn't a competition, it's a statement." Emily's lips pressed into a thin line. Her hand tightened around her clutch. I didn't need to speak louder than I already had. My presence, my posture, my calm dominance, all broadcasted my transformation. "Everyone's noticing you," Sophie whispered. "Even the guests are talking." "I know," I said, sipping my drink. "I'm letting them talk. Let them see what they ignored before. Let them understand. I'm untouchable now." Emily leaned closer, voice almost a whisper. I thought you'd be devastated. Crying, angry, weak." "I was," I said softly. "But I chose growth instead. Strength, control, presence. That's far more satisfying than tears." She looked away, biting her lip. Regret, jealousy, recognition of her loss. Michael glanced at her, confused. "Is everything okay?" She nodded quickly, avoiding my gaze. I didn't correct her. The dynamic had shifted. The power was mine. Later, as speeches began, people raised glasses and eyes kept flicking toward me. I smiled faintly, acknowledging the silent recognition. I had risen from their betrayal. Emily's facade faltered further with every glance, every whisper she caught. I felt Sophie's hand lightly brush mine. "They see it," she said. "I know," I said quietly. "And tonight, nothing else matters. I am no longer the boy they abandoned. I am everything they underestimated." The night continued, music playing, guests dancing, laughter swirling. I remained calm, observing, composed, untouchable. Emily tried to mask her envy. Michael tried to assert himself, but I didn't react beyond a quiet smile. By the end of the evening, the statement was clear. The tables had turned. The lost, betrayed boy was gone. What remained was a man in full control of his destiny, untouchable, undeniable, and ready for whatever came next. I watched from across the room, quietly amused. Emily's laugh faltered mid-sentence, and Jake's brow furrowed as he tried to respond. "What happened?" Sophie whispered beside me. "Patience," I said, smiling faintly. "Watch carefully. The cracks are showing." Jake waved a hand dismissively, voice tense. "I told you it's not a big deal." "It is a big deal," Emily snapped. "You promised again." I leaned back, taking a slow sip of my drink. The irony wasn't lost on me. This was the chaos I once endured, now mirrored before my eyes. Sophie chuckled quietly. It's like watching a slow-motion replay of the past. Exactly, I murmured. But this time it's not mine to bear. It's theirs. A friend approached, nodding toward Emily and Jake. I heard they've been arguing all week. Must be stressful, I shrugged casually. I suppose it is. But sometimes people only learn lessons the hard way. Emily shot Jake a glare across the room. I can't believe you forgot our anniversary again. I didn't forget, Jake started, but she cut him off. No. You just don't care, do you? Her voice trembled, frustration clear. I felt a quiet satisfaction, tempered by calm. This wasn't gloating. It was observation. Karma, subtle and inevitable, unfolding naturally. Sophie leaned closer. You're enjoying this way too much. I'm not enjoying it, I corrected. I'm appreciating it. Life has a way of balancing things. Across the room, Jake muttered something under his breath. Emily snapped back, and several guests glanced over. The tension was unmistakable. You notice it too, right? Sophie asked softly. I do, I said, voice low. It's a reminder. Everything that hurt me once now echoes back to them. Not through my doing, but through their choices. A mutual friend approached me. You're handling this. Gracefully impressive. Thanks, I said. I've learned the value of patience, of observing before acting, and letting life handle the rest. Emily stormed past, muttering accusations at Jake. He tried to apologize, but her glare stopped him mid-word, Sophie whispered. They're unraveling right in front of you. It's satisfying, isn't it? Not exactly satisfying, I said carefully. It's closure. Proof that justice doesn't always need intervention. Sometimes it's quiet, inevitable. Another friend joined, curious. They really can't keep it together, huh? Nope, I said, smiling faintly. And that's the lesson. Toxic patterns reveal themselves eventually. Supportive relationships like this one, I gestured toward Sophie, are rare. Cherish them. Emily's voice rose again. You never listen. You never... I let the words fade into the background, not reacting. She was no longer my storm. Her chaos was hers to navigate. Sophie touched my arm. You're calm. Different from before. Stronger. I had to be, I said. I watched everything I loved crumble once. Now I observe without attachment. That's strength. That's freedom. The evening continued, Emily and Jake's disputes punctuating the background. Guests whispered, exchanged glances, but I remained composed, quietly acknowledging the balance life had restored. For the first time in months, I felt complete. Not because of revenge, but because justice in its quiet, patient way had arrived, and I could finally move forward, unburdened, free, and in control of my own story. Sophie caught up to me as I stepped out into the cool night air. Are you okay? She asked gently. I am, I said, taking a deep breath. More than okay, actually. It's peaceful, strange after everything. You survived it all, she said softly. That's what matters, I smiled faintly. I survived, and I grew. I finally understand what really counts. Self-worth, control, choosing the right battles. A soft laugh escaped her. You've changed. Not just how you carry yourself, but inside. Stronger. Stronger, I echoed, but calm. No longer reacting to their chaos. I watched Emily and Jake spiral. I felt no bitterness, only clarity. Life has a way of teaching lessons. You're ready for what's next, she said, a knowing smile in her eyes. Yes, I said. And I think I'm ready to love again, carefully, but openly. Trust doesn't come easy, but it's worth it. Sophie reached for my hand. Then maybe I get to be part of that journey. I looked down, letting a slow smile form. I'd like that. It's time for new beginnings. We walked together, the night quiet around us. The city lights reflected my sense of balance. Finally, the storm had passed, and I could breathe without shadows clouding my thoughts. The chaos is over, I said, voice low. I'm free now. Free to grow, free to build, free to choose happiness without fear or regret. And you will, Sophie said. You've earned it, I chuckled softly. Years ago, I never imagined reaching this point. Betrayal, heartbreak, envy. I've lived it all. But I've also learned to rise above it. You've risen, she said gently, and it shows. I nodded, feeling a quiet warmth spread through me. It's not just surviving. It's thriving. Every mistake, every pain, every tear, it led me here. And now the future is mine to shape. Sophie smiled, squeezing my hand. Then let's make it worth it. Yes, I said, heart steady, voice confident. Let's make it ours. As we walked away from the venue, I glanced back once. Emily and Jake remained inside, tangled in their own failures, their triumphs hollow. I felt no joy in their pain, only recognition that life had its way of balancing scales. I turned forward, eyes on the path ahead, calm, empowered, and ready to embrace what came next.